Hey,
What's up, John?
how's it going?
Is it going to be like my avatar?
Yeah, it's cool.
So how's it going?
I'm alright. I'm a little, to be honest, I'm a little demoralized because I did the speed dating thing yesterday and it was,
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I don't really know, like, I just felt, I don't want to say a lot of personal stuff, but basically, it went good, like, everybody seemed nice and I sustained eye contact and stuff. But I just sort of realized after 30 minutes of it that I'm probably never going to date again so it just seemed like, I just feel like I can't imagine dating anymore.
Why?
I can't imagine doing all that. I feel like women, I don't know. I honestly, I feel, I don't want to drone on and on, but basically like, when I was 30 and in my 20s, there were some cute women who thought I was cute, and we just had sex. And now there's this thing where there's like these older, I don't know, like you're supposed to play the role of a man, and I get the feeling like women, they want you to like go to them. They're used to men like doing a lot of stuff like working on them, and I'm just too tired and old to do that. I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to do that. And I like my freedom, and I just kind of like, I can't imagine, I'm kind of set in my ways. I'm like an older person. I sleep with like a jug of pee by my bed, and I can't imagine.
Why?
Because it's just convenient, and I just can't really imagine, like, I guess I was a different person when I don't want to talk about myself. I made these rules because I'll just drone on and on about myself, so I don't want to do that. I'm trying to be more interested in other people because I tend to do this. So let's talk about you.
So, I don't know, what do you want to know about me? Does my microphone sound okay, by the way?
Yeah, I should set up some protocol because I'm trying to change my habits, and I have these bad habits of like, I drone on, and I gotta have like a little protocol. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep doing the same stuff. Okay, so what sort of stuff do you like?
I like to do 3D modeling. I'm kind of like you. Yeah, and I make music too. But yeah, I like to do a lot of 3D stuff and art. It's kind of why I like watching your videos, because I really like your art.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna do more art. In like a couple weeks, I might quit this jiu-jitsu stuff. I think it's taking up all my time, and I think I should just do art more. Cool. Yeah, you like 3D. How long have you been doing 3D stuff?
Probably about 5 or 6 years, I'd say. It's kind of just like a hobby I've always done. I haven't really done it professionally too much.
Oh.
But I always see your models of like real people, and it makes me think like you should get into VTubing. Do you know what VTubing is?
What's that?
So like people will make 3D models of like their own little personas online.
Oh.
And then they'll live stream using kind of like what I'm doing right now, where I'm like talking with a 3D model, and they get these huge fan bases of like just playing this character, and like who knows what they look like in real life, but you can play like, I don't know, some like anime character.
Huh, cool.
It's really popular.
Yeah, I think, I bet you that's going to happen. Are people doing this more and more where they're having like avatars?
Oh yeah, they're huge. Yeah, it's so popular.
That's kind of what I think will happen in the future. Is like people sort of just, it's going to be more like what can you do with your imagination rather than physical constraints.
Right.
So, what do you think about Donald Trump trying to take over Canada and incorporate in the United States?
I'm Canadian, so I don't know, but yeah.
The Canadians are not happy with that, right?
No, some of them are. Oh my gosh! Like I work for the government, and like some of the things that people who call in say is like crazy. Like, oh yeah, I want Donald Trump to take the 51st state because they're like just stick with our politicians. So they're like, yeah, we need Donald Trump in the country. And it's like, are you kidding me? It's craziness. I don't know. What do you think?
I wonder why he's doing it. I wonder if he's worried that like China's gonna beat America unless America like gets more population or something like that.
I don't know. He's like sending JD Vance to Europe to take over Europe as well. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard that.
Do you watch the news at all, or like do you go on Twitter or X?
I check Google News every once in a while, but that's about it.
Oh yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yeah. I heard that this guy called Ray Dalio, he said that like if America doesn't reduce half of its deficit in the next 3 years, they might have a like crash. Like there's going to be some sort of like economic collapse in America or something. So that's not good.
Really?
But then there's other people.
Oh,
There'll be somebody on Joe Rogan who says that like we're headed for like a boom. Like there's going to be some age of plenty or something like that. So I don't know. I don't really know what the hell is going to go on.
Maybe AI was going to be able to like fix the economy. Maybe we can get AI to work on that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping AI takes over and there's universal basic income and I won't have to ever work.
Really? That's what you want? You want UBI?
I'm determined to avoid working as much as possible for the rest of my life.
Really?
I've eluded working. I stayed in college for like 10 years, and then I did real jobs for a little while, and then I sort of like, oh, this is terrible. And so I've just kind of
Right.
I've avoided it at my dad's house. My dad's paid all my bills for so long that like I think I might, if I keep my expenses low, I might be able to make it. Although Donald Trump, he just quit. He made it so people can't get Medi-Cal anymore. So that might force me to get at least some job for medical insurance. Do you have a job, right?
Yeah, I work for the Canadian government. I like answer phones for like the tax company, for like the tax agency.
Do you if you could not work, would you want to not work?
Yeah, well, it depends. Like, I wouldn't want to do that job, but like, say if like I could do something that I was passionate about, like art, I wouldn't mind it.
That's kind of what I think too. A fun job would be cool.
Yeah.
Did you?
I feel like once that job is fun though, once something that's fun becomes a job, it's not really that fun anymore. Like when you like have to do something, as opposed to like when you get to do something, it's a different feeling.
That's why I don't want to work. I basically just feel like I just have my time, and I just want to think, what do I want to do with my time that I can physically do, and then just do what I want. There doesn't seem anything to be anything better than to just do what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I do agree with you, but at the same time, I do also get this like weird feeling where I kind of like forcing myself to like pull away from doing the things that I enjoy doing, so that when I do actually get to do them, it feels that much better. It actually like feels rewarding to do the things I want to enjoy, as opposed to if I just like do it whenever, it kind of gets stale, and I'm kind of like looking for something to do, and I'm bored.
Yeah, Joe
I don't know if
Rogan.
that makes sense.
Yeah, Joe Rogan talks about that. Joe Rogan says if you could have,
Yeah.
even if you could have sex with supermodels, if you did it all day long, you'd probably get sick of it and want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same feeling. Yeah.
But I think it seems like challenges are good to always have.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good to push yourself.
Did you always do art stuff?
Yeah, I've always been kind of creative. Like, I make music too. I've been doing that since I was like 14 or so. I'm 25 now, so yeah.
Cool. So what kind of 3D models do you make?
Mostly like anime stuff. I do a lot more animating than I do modeling. Like, I really like to do animating. Like I don't know if I'm gonna say this on stream, but I worked on like some cool Lego stuff. I'll say that.
Like real
Like
Legos?
like a show, like an animated show.
With Legos?
Yeah, they have like their own productions and shows. And I did something for their shows.
Oh, I've seen some of that. Like there's this thing I watch called
Yeah.
Carnage Count, and they have little Lego animation stuff.
Yeah.
Do you make animation?
Yeah, like 3D animation. Yeah, I want to learn how to do 2D animation. That stuff is really cool to me. But yeah, mostly 3D stuff. I don't know. Do you animate at all, or you just do modeling?
I used to. I worked at this one game company where I did Flash drawing, and then I created.
Oh, yeah.
I did like a little animation, but it's so labor intensive, and I'm not really the fastest drawer, and so I can do it, but just barely. I was never really a great hand animator.
Right.
So I'm trying to do this like active listening thing as like I'm trying to become like a more normal person that women would like or something. But I'm so disillusioned after that dating thing that I'm just thinking like maybe I'll just try to talk to you like a normal like myself. Maybe I'll just be myself, which is not.
Yeah.
Nobody likes myself, but I'll go. I can always go back.
I like you. I think you're cool.
Oh man, everybody thinks I'm an asshole usually, but
You've been working out a lot recently. What's like your fitness goal? Like I've seen on stream, you've been working out a bunch.
it's just
Do you have a good fitness goal in mind?
it's just vanity. I'm terrified of looking ugly, and so I want to. Also, it gives me endorphins, and it makes me. It's a good antidepressant, and so if I do about 30 to 40 minutes of cardio, I have energy, and I feel like I'm staving away obesity, but I still kind of am falling apart, and so I need it to feel good. If I don't do it, I feel really bad, or not really bad. But
Is there any rationale behind doing it in the America flag thong?
I want to feel like proud of my body, and I want to feel unafraid. And really, I would be naked in the real world if I can, because it's just I find clothes to be they just get all wet, and I'm just like, why not? I want to know how my body really looks, and I don't like it all like hidden, and so. But
yeah, I've been working with like a personal trainer recently, but it's super hard because I only really have a lot of free time on the weekends, and he can't work out on the weekends because he's Jewish and it's like Shabbat.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know if you know what that is.
Shabbat. I know it's a Jewish holiday.
Yeah. I know Jews are pretty unpopular right now in the media and stuff. I don't know if you watch that in the news.
Are they? Are you really? You're like your parents are really Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're unpopular. I always think of Jews as smart.
Really? Yeah.
They prioritize.
At least they're very hated right now in America.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe go on Twitter, you'd see it. But yeah, there's like a whole Nazi resurgence.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm really out of touch. How do you feel about all this Israel stuff?
I love Israel. It's like, yeah. I've been there for birthright and stuff. Yeah, I love Israel. It's such a beautiful country.
Huh. So do you think this Gaza thing is all fucked up, right? Those.
I think both sides are pretty fucked up. I don't know. I think the Middle East is fucked up.
It is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Do you get the sense?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm so out of touch, but I wonder, is there kind of a sense that like the West and white dominance is falling, and then the non-white people are like, let's take back that land? Like, is that kind of what's going on there?
Like in Israel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally out of touch with like the news of it, but is there kind of a general feeling like with the Ukraine thing and the Israel thing, is it like, oh, America is showing weakness and let's take back this land that like was a result of Americans kind of winning? And let's
I do think Muslims just want to delete white people, yeah, like especially the Jewish white people. Like it's pretty obvious that Muslims just like hate white people.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Like, I wonder if I can't see there being some sort of like white versus non-white world thing, because there's too many intermixed like white and non-white marriages, and all the businesses are interconnected around the world. I just don't think that's. But sometimes I feel like there's like a hatred, right? There's sort of like Asians are like. When I go onto Twitter, I'll see Asians saying like, "You guys are going down. America's gonna fall," and there's
exactly. Asians are crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're 25.
Yeah.
What's your like ideal sort of like life plan? Like if you could have life go however you wanted it. You want life to be really good. What do you how do you see life going if it just went like optimally, or is that stuff you want to share?
I don't know. I'd like to. I don't know. Either. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. Like maybe I want to have a job, but like something I enjoy. Maybe something I control. Like maybe have my own creative, like my own. Animation studio or something like that, or a film studio where I can like just like put a bunch of people to work to fulfill my creative visions. I don't know. That sounds fun.
I did that. I had a job at some game companies, and then I thought, this sucks. I just want to start my own company, and I started.
Yeah.
You can just put out things on Craigslist. There's a surprisingly large number of people who will just work for free if you make it seem like you have like a legitimate business.
Really?
Yeah, like I got all hopped up on Adderall when I was 32. I started this business called Movie Media, and on Craigslist I got 50 different people to come into this office. I just dressed in a suit. I had business cards, and they thought that I was a business. They thought I was, and all these college kids. They worked for me for like a year, some of them, and just I wondered like why did they do it? They wanted internships. I told them that they were never going to make money, but I eventually just kind of
Crazy.
yeah, I felt like an asshole. I was just hopped up on Adderall, and I was taking
Yeah, I
steroids.
did Vyvanse for like 8 years, which is like pretty similar to Adderall. And that stuff made me like so eccentric. I loved it.
It's not worth it, right? Don't you feel like drugs? They're kind of fun, but they're not really worth it.
I don't know. I love it. I wish I still had it.
Oh.
I don't know. I felt great.
Have you ever tried Adderall?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
I was just never able to get a prescription for it. I would rather take that, but like my doctor won't give it to me. I don't know. I've tried my friend's Adderall and stuff, but Vyvanse is like the same thing as Adderall, pretty much. It's just amphetamine.
So you're 25. Do you get laid on occasion, or is that too personal a question?
Yeah, every now and then.
I always wonder like why people in their 20s don't just like fuck their brains out. That just seems like if I was 25, I would just I would do nothing but try to get laid. And I'm always like, dude, you guys don't know how good you got it. Like, man, when I was in my 20s, getting laid was like doable. There were women who came to me and said like, hey, you want to have sex? And now that just it doesn't happen. And so I'm just like, I want to tell 20-year-olds like, you don't understand. Like, you guys, it's so good in your 20s. There's gonna be so much time to do all this like computer desk stuff, but you can't really.
I don't really see a point though. You know, like once you like do it once or twice, it kind of gets like bored. Like I don't know. I'm a much more like committed person. I'm gonna try to just like have like a steady relationship going, as opposed to like just fucking everybody.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. That's just a pet person I am. Like I don't know. I don't really like fucking around.
I always wanted to be like a player or like cool enough to fuck, but lots of people. But basically, I usually would have a girlfriend. She'd coerce me into just being with her for a long time, and even that was great. But that's not really doable lately. But I don't know. I just always wonder like why people don't just try to get laid a lot in their 20s. But anyway, I suppose it's hard to do. Anyway, so what other stuff are you into?
I don't know, just to circle back on that before we leave that topic, I'm just curious, like, what do you think your body count is?
If I think about it, I think it was 10 women that throughout my whole life that I was with. A lot of it was when I was 36. I had sex with 5 different women in like a month or two, and it was just because I was no, I was hopped up on steroids, Adderall, and benzodiazepines, and so I could fake. I don't know what I did, but I faked that I was cool. And I got some women to just come over, and we had sex. I don't know what I said, but there was this 1 month where I just got laid a lot, and now
Were they decent?
they were, they were okay. But I realized like some of them just I didn't really know women very well, and so in that time I sort of got the sense that like they want you to like keep them. There were some women who were like I would drive them home, and they'd be like, "Oh, like I thought you were gonna like keep me," and I was like, oh, they kind of want like they give free samples of sex sometimes, and then they want somebody to keep them, and I'm like, oh, like, and then I just felt kind of bad. I was like, well, I'm never gonna do that, and so I just thought like, I should probably just do art.
Maybe they just wanted drugs. I don't know. Were you giving them drugs?
I wasn't giving them drugs. But there was one woman who she was here from the South America, and she was with some other guy. She told me when I was driving her home that she was with some other guy, and that guy was abusing her, and she asked if she could like stay in my garage, and I was like, oh god, like there's like desperate people out there who just they want like somebody to take care of them. And so I'm really naive about women. Do you get the sense that a lot of women, that's kind of the arrangement, they want somebody to like keep them and shelter them?
I don't know. I usually date dudes, but
That's so much easier.
Yeah, I dated a few women as well, but I don't know. They're I don't know. Yeah, usually they're usually like, oh, I don't want anything, and then I just want to fuck, and then you fuck, and then it's like, oh, I love you.
So dating dudes is interesting. Like I've never jerked off to a man. I've never gotten a boner from a man. But I always think that like dudes that date dudes, it seems like that's proof that you don't really have to cater to your breeding instinct. Like there's happy gay guys, and they're perfectly happy.
I feel like the dudes that I like still give me a breeding instinct.
Really? But you don't feel some desire to like make a baby?
Yeah, I do.
You do feel a desire?
Yeah, I do get that same feeling, yeah, definitely.
So you want it...
Like a primal instinct.
Yeah, there's kind of like a feeling like I don't know. Do a lot of guys... Do you know other guys who date only dudes?
Yeah.
Are they happy? Can they be happy doing that?
Definitely, yeah. You can still love somebody, even if they're a dude. So they can still you love them.
That seems like proof that like you don't have to breed necessarily to be happy. Yeah.
No, I don't think you have to be. I don't think like there's like some sort of like end goal for everybody. I'm sure that there are like instincts, but I don't think we're like hardwired to complete a goal. Like.
Yeah. I wonder. This is something I always wonder about. Like, I always feel like if you put humans into, I think they did tests on this. I tried to look it up on ChatGPT, but I got mixed data. If you put humans into a virtual world where they couldn't tell gender, and then you ask them, who did you click with? Who did you sort of like understand and feel a connection with? They tend to connect better with people of the same gender. And so I always feel like people are kind of full of shit. Like they want to be like, this is my soulmate. I like this person for platonic connection. But really, if it was just about connection, it seems like people would pick somebody of the same gender. It seems like it's kind of catering to breeding instincts.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think Jocko Willink is attractive?
I think I could never imagine getting a boner to Jocko or jerking off to Jocko, but I could see.
He seems objectively attractive. Like
he just seems really.
Think about it.
He seems really cool, and he seems really like admirable in like the cardinal virtues. He seems like he's brave, disciplined, good at time management, and fair. And so I like that. He's like an admirable person. I wish I was more like him in terms of having more cardinal virtues. And I like that he seems like he's not afraid to die. So I notice like I'm not gay, but I do like to have a strong man around virtually, because when I listen to Jocko, I like Joe Rogan and Jocko because they just sound, in their voice, they sound like stable, and they sound like they're not afraid to die. And so I really relate to women in the sense of like wanting like a strong man. Like when I was trying to get laid when I had that business, and there was this pretty woman who was coming to my little pseudo business, and I tried to date her. I said, hey, you want to go on a date? And she says like, I need a strong man. And I was thinking like, oh, like I'm not really like a strong man to her. And then I thought, I kind of want like a strong man too. Like it's nice to have like a dude around who sounds like he's like got things under control and he's not afraid to die. And so I relate to women in the sense of like having a strong male, like just having Jocko and having Joe Rogan talking in the background, it makes me feel like secure and like I can draw longer and I don't feel like old depressed. And so it's right. It's not quite like a gay thing, but I understand the women perspective.
Yeah, it's just like it's comforting, I guess. Or, I don't know.
Right. It just feels like, well, these guys sound like they're doing okay. They're doing okay in life. Like maybe life isn't so terrifying and bad.
One thing I was curious about, something I saw in your chat when I was watching your stream the other day. Did your brother work at a casino?
He used to. Yeah, he worked at Grayton Casino.
Oh, cool. Did you ever go to a casino? Do you like to gamble?
I don't anymore. When I was 21, I went to this Indian casino. And I did really good for a while, and I got up to like $1,000 from $100, and then I got to the high roll table, and I lost it all, and then I decided no more gambling after that, because I could get really good. Yeah, I like it, but it just the house is favored to win. Like the odds, I know the odds are just such that if you play infinitely, the house will eventually win. And so, do you like gambling?
Yeah, honestly, I love to gamble. Like it's bad. It's really bad. It's really fun.
You're
like the rush is crazy.
Yeah,
Like, I really like to play blackjack, and just like, oh my god, like I'll keep doubling my bet after I lose, like, and it'll get crazy high. Like I'll be putting like crazy hands down, just trying to make my money back. I could also rip like slots for like an hour, 2 hours.
Huh.
Like especially on like Adderall. Like oh my god, slots are so fun on Adderall. Like you just sit there like stemmed out watching slots go by. Crazy.
Huh. How much have you made, or how much have you lost, or?
I probably lost around like $5,000, so it's not like crazy.
That doesn't make you want to not do it?
No, I don't play anymore. Like
No.
I only play poker now occasionally, but like yeah, I had to get off that.
Yeah, it seems.
It's way too easy on the internet. Like I don't know if you realize, like if you see like these websites like Stake nowadays, like how easy it is to with no ID verification just like buy some Bitcoin and then log in and go crazy.
Oh, can you do that? I don't know if I am not familiar with the gambling world, but I guess people probably do it online now, huh?
Yeah, it's all online. It's crazy. These websites make like actual trillions of dollars. It's so ridiculous.
Wow, Jesus. Yeah, there's some video game companies I've applied to that make casino games, and they seem like they have a lot of money. My brother had a very stable job at that casino. They think it's like the biggest business in his town or something.
Hmm.
Do you know Dan Bilzerian?
Yeah, he's one of like the classic dudes of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, he like ran Instagram back in the day.
Yeah, I thought his gambling thing seems really cool. I always think like similar to.
I think his entire story is like fake. Like he's a complete con man. Like nothing about his story is real.
It seems kind of like bullshit. Like the things that he shows on Instagram, it seems like it's probably staged with like models and stuff.
Even like his gambling story, like his story about how he made his money, like oh yeah, I made my money playing like poker or college games, and none of it's actually like true. He's like a trust fund kid.
It's verified that he did.
Yeah. Well, like he plays poker, but it's not the types of hands he's talking about.
Oh, I just
it's a whole load of crap to like sell an image.
he just he basically seemed every photo I saw of him, it seems to elicit the reaction of like, whoa, that guy's the man. Like he just seems really impressive.
Exactly.
And
20 women in the bed with him. It's like yeah.
Yeah, they had a picture, guys show themselves in front of like a Ferrari, and he'll show himself in front of like 10 Ferraris. It's all like that stuff to the extreme. I don't know, I thought he was kind of cool, but I think it's probably really fake.
I think like all those people on Instagram are fake. Like they're all just trying to sell an image to like sell promotion. It's all like a business. So like they're all just trying to like craft some actual image. It's not real.
Do you think? Well, yeah, I guess if they're doing actual fake stuff.
Like even like Joe Rogan, like he tries to like portray himself in a certain light. Like even if he does seem like genuine, same with Taco. Like they're trying to like portray like this like tough guy image. Like it's not like they're not acting like the same on like around like their wife and their kids that they are on the podcast. They're obviously like playing it up.
Well, they have to stay strong. That's the one thing. They're very aware that like if they suddenly started saying like, man, I'm really like scared about getting older and I have some weaknesses stuff. A lot of people would be like, ugh, like you can't do that. You're supposed to be all tough and stuff. And so I noticed that they always say like they're totally authentic, but they never say something that would make them seem like really pathetic. And they could, like they have pathetic. I'm sure they've had like runny diarrhea or sometime they couldn't get up off the toilet, but they never say stuff that makes them seem really pathetic. They definitely have like, but Jocko will say that. Jocko basically says that in the Navy SEALs they have an ethic of never show weakness because it's just not. They're all about like stay strong always. But that's definitely why I sort of listen to them. Is they sound, if they started saying like normal human stuff, I'd be like, dude, like you gotta like stay strong. But you know what's weird? I was thinking about Joe Rogan too. It's Joe Rogan. He pretends like I'm not afraid of anything. I'll do anything. But I always think those macho men. If you know Joe Rogan, he did that Fear Factor thing where he was like, I'll do anything. I have no fear. I'll eat like rodents and stuff like that. But if you just told those macho dudes, just take your penis through a piece of plastic and cross the threshold of a man's anus, they would say, "Oh, I just can't do that." They'd be scared to do that because they know that like that's gonna ruin their tough guy cred.
Yeah.
And I always think like, yeah, they just seem like they're kind of scared to do it, but they are definitely concerned with maintaining an image. because I think in their case it's kind of their trade. They know that people go to them for tough guy inspiration.
Yeah. Did you vote this year?
I did.
Who did you vote for?
I voted for Donald Trump because I'm terrified of China taking over with AI. I feel like America has to win the AI battle, or China really might dominate the world or something.
I feel like China already won the AI battle.
Are they? I keep hearing.
Like, have you heard of DeepSeek?
Yeah.
I feel like they just like totally exposed that the billions of dollars that is being pumped into the U.S. like AI market. It's all a total scam.
Really?
Like, DeepSeek's better than OpenAI, and it costs like a tenth of the money to run.
Well, if
ChatGPT.
If China takes over the world, I hope they don't kill us all. I guess there's a lot of Chinese living here and stuff, but what do you get the sense that China's kind of less toxic and better than America in some ways?
No, America's number one, but I think like there's a lot of like I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in China, but I think like there's a lot of I don't know how to put it, like everything in America, like Americans have this perception that everything outside of America is just like retarded. And like, I don't know how to put it, like there's like most like American opinions of some things, and I don't know, I feel like it's a lot. It's not as, there's definitely legitimate criticisms to have of China, but I don't think it's as bad as like the average American thinks it is. Like, if you acting like it's like Auschwitz over there.
Yeah.
It's not really that bad.
I don't know. A woman that I slept with off Tinder, she moved to China, and she basically says that it's nicer in a lot of ways. It's like the future there or something like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like America's kind of, you've been to America, right? You have some family here?
Yeah, my dad's American, so yeah, I've visited a few times.
It seems kind of, I went to Ireland one time and I felt like America feels kind of toxic in some ways. It feels like people are friendlier outside of America. That was my general impression.
Mm.
And I went to Canada, and I remember going to Victoria and thinking everybody seemed sort of generally happier, friendlier out of America.
Than Canada?
Or just Canada. I went to Canada. People seemed, there was a note. It was like getting out of a dirty fishbowl, and Canada seemed like, like people are friendlier and more relaxed. And then I went to Ireland, same thing. I was like, like America's kind of tense and toxic in a way that I didn't really notice until I went to those two places. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah. So, hey, we almost made it to 30 minutes. I'm gonna keep trying to do.
Let's keep it going.
Okay. I might have to restart because the Zoom thing says that it might time out. I have a free Zoom, so I'll have to restart it. And
it says we got like 6 minutes left. If you want to push it.
You can tell. Okay. Yeah. So if it times out, I'll send another link. But
cool.
What other things do I wonder about? Here's another thing I think about the gay stuff. Is like I always feel like if like somebody felt a connection with like another human and they thought, I want to spend my life with this human. I've never had a bad orgasm. Like my grandfather, he said a man could get an orgasm from a washing machine or a hole in the wall and it would feel good. So I always feel like the main thing that keeps men from giving other men orgasms is kind of just homophobia. They must have, because it would feel good physically, and so there must be something where they just think that's like crossing the line or something like that. They're worried.
Yeah, exactly. It would feel good. It does feel good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've never had like a bad orgasm, and so I always think like they must think that it's just like they don't want to. They don't want to. They must think that they're crossing. They're worried that their friends are going to say that they've crossed some kind of line. It's basically homophobia, I think.
Have you ever thought about trying it?
Well, I've thought about that. I've thought about the fact that, like, again, I use this thing called a manta vibrator, and it gives me an orgasm.
What is that?
It's basic. I'll show you. It's great. It's improved the quality of my life. it's a rubber gripper thing, which is basically like it's kind of rubber vagina thing, and you basically just you can put it around the head of your penis, and you can just jerk off to porn. And I looked around online, I asked Reddit, and they said this thing is great. They have it on Amazon now for $79. I never can jerk off with my hand anymore. Like basically, just put that around the head of your penis, and you can just look at porn. It takes longer than using your hand, but your eyes roll into the back of it. So basically, like you can get an orgasm from like a washing machine or like a vibrating thing. Orgasms always feel good. I've never had an orgasm that doesn't feel good. And so it occurs to me that really there must be something inside my head and most men's heads that say like, oh, like that's crossing the line. You're going to be like officially gay, and they're worried that their friends are going to make fun of them because physically it would feel good. And so there must be something in cultures like in Middle Eastern cultures they throw people off rooftops, and I always wonder like, is there something where people are like, you can't just do that. You can't just be with men. Like, somebody's got to make babies. Like, I wonder if there's that thing in cultures where that's considered like wimping out or something like that. Like, people gotta ensure the survival of the species. I don't understand the reason for homophobia. It just basically seems like it must be a cultural thing because it would feel good.
I don't know. Maybe. Do you know what a glory hole is?
It's like when you put your dick in a hole and somebody does stuff to it, right?
Yeah, why don't you try that?
I have to admit, I've listened to so much Joe Rogan and Jocko that there is kind of a thing in me where it's like, I don't want to cross that line. And I really do like pussy. Like, I want to, like, fertilize a vagina. But now it's occurring to me that I'm probably never going to do that. And so, I don't know, maybe... I think I'm just too old for any of this stuff anyway. I'm just going to jerk off until I'm dead. But, like, I basically think there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. But it seems like it's basically homophobia. Where are glory holes just around? Like, can you just find them anywhere?
I don't know. I don't know where to find them.
Oh, you've never been to one?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear about them. San Francisco, where I'm from, back in the day, used to be like gay. People used to just have sex in the bushes. They used to have those bathhouses and stuff. And a lot of my mom's friends are gay and stuff, and they had a lot of fun back in the 70s and 80s. But I guess because of AIDS and stuff, it's not quite as carefree as it used to be. But yeah, I really like.
AIDS seems scary because like you have it for life.
Right. The whole gay lifestyle, that like when I look at Castro Street, everything about the gay lifestyle, the dancing, the being into like art, the being unabashedly into being beautiful, wanting to have plastic surgery and nice hair, all of that makes sense. I can't imagine. I've never jerked off to a man, so everything else about the gay lifestyle seems like way better than like the stoic man stuff. Like I always wonder. I'm gonna shut this. I don't want to start saying my own personal stuff. But like, I always wonder, like, do men have to? The men who play the role of like a stoic, like I'm gonna play the role of a man. You know those guys who wear like lumberjack shirts and shit. Do you think they're forcing themselves to do all that because it's so unpleasant?
I don't know. I think it just depends on like a lot of things. Like it depends on like their worldview. Like different people want different things out of life. Like. Maybe from your perspective, it just seems like they're forcing it because you have a different like set of needs and wants in a way. But like in their eyes, that's all they know. So like they don't know any better. So it's like maybe in their own worldview, they're peaking right now. Who knows?
It all seems so awful. It just seems like playing the stereotypical role of the man. It's just a bunch of you can't show affection, you can't show weakness. You have to do all the work in terms of the marriage. You have to like make the money. You have to be ugly and shave your head. It just seems all so awful that I wonder, like, are they forcing it or do they really want to have like?
No, they think they're badass. They think they look cool as shit.
There's
less than a minute left, by the way, in the meeting.
Oh, do you want to restart?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, I'll be back. Oh no. Oh! God damn it. Alright, I gotta do this again. Ah! Shit. Alright, I gotta use a different account. No! How do you just log out? Okay. Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Yeah,
You back?
yeah.
What's up?
Hey.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you pick your YouTube titles?
I went on to ChatGPT and I typed in what are 20 clickbait titles for workouts. What are 20 clickbait titles for I said if people wanted to see me as like a loser failure, what are clickbait titles for people who want to see me as a loser failure? And then for the workout thing, I wondered why anybody did a workout thing, and so I basically thought if I make this title, will I get clicks? And so I thought like maybe gay guys like my workouts, and so I said like what are clickbait titles for that, and it doesn't seem like people want to watch my workout, so it was just an experiment.
I think what's happening is your things are getting flagged and probably not counting the algorithm for using words like penis directly in the butt or whatever the last one was. There's one the other day with that title.
Dick in the butt, directly in the butt, whole thing.
Yeah.
So I should just say this because my conscience bothers me. I always figure I'm too old for anybody to even be into me anymore, so I don't really think this is a thing. But basically, I have to, like, when I was in my 20s, is always the same thing. Like I liked women. I wanted to have sex with women, but women are always like, I'm too lame. They always think that I was too lame or too soft or too. I wasn't. I didn't do the stuff to seal the deal and get in the pussy usually, unless I was hopped up on steroids or something. And then like sometimes some guy would like me, and I would kind of do this thing where like I would say like maybe I might be gay or something, but I don't do that anymore. Like basically, I realized that that's like that's a bad thing to do, and so I always want to say that I'm not gay. Like I can't do any gay stuff, but I don't even think anybody likes me anymore. But when I was in my 20s, gay guys used to like me, and so I always wonder like why does anybody even watch my channel? So when I made that workout thing, I was thinking like, oh, maybe there's some gay guys who watch my thing. So I made the clickbait titles to think like what would be clickbait titles to see if gay guys will watch my workout, but not a lot of people watch it, and so I just think
honestly, when I first found your channel, I thought you were gay.
Yeah, see, a lot of people in my jiu-jitsu, I made a specific point to tell this one guy like I have to tell them that I'm not gay because people think that I might be gay, but I'm almost gay in the sense that I like all the gay stuff. I just really love pussy, and I jerk off to women, and I love pretty face, big butt, big boobs, and I want to get my dick in a pussy. Other than that, I really make a terrible man. I don't understand the whole heterosexual man thing, and I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. But I'm too old for all
Well,
that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with you. Like, I think if you like go to like idiots like Jocko Willink and Joe Rogan, you're gonna get a really warped sense of like what being a man is. I don't think any woman actually wants that like meathead like alpha male like person. I think most women actually just want somebody with like a personality who loves them. I think that's like more important than being like an alpha protector.
Yeah,
that is not a concern in the modern society. Like, protect them from what?
Well,
like, there's no predators.
I definitely think I have a lot of weaknesses, and I wanted to learn how to be like. I want to grow into like a man that women like, and so I was always trying to learn from those guys about like how can I be more of what women want. I know I'm kind of too wimpy and stuff, and so I'm taking this jiu-jitsu because I want to be like, what the hell do I got to do to get some pretty woman to like me? And so, but I know from experience that like you say, they want somebody who's into them, and I'm terrified of getting dominated by somebody. I don't want some woman to like take over my life. Like that's I was engaged to some woman, and she said, I love you, I love you, I love you for 3 years. And then when she broke up, it was clear that she didn't give a shit about me. Like she just wanted to see what I could do for her economically and stuff. And she took me to court, and she tried to put me in jail for 7 years, and I was just like, oh shit, like women.
7 years for what?
I bought a dog for her, and then her dad was abusing the dog, and I refused to give the dog back because I didn't want. Like we broke up, and I wouldn't give the dog to her. It turns out if you buy a dog for somebody, that's considered property. So she took me to court to sue for this property that I gave her, and I said like, well, the dad's abusing the dog, so I refused to give the dog back, and that broke the law. Oh, actually, I guess also. I don't want to talk about this a lot because I could drone on and on about it. But she slapped me in the face when we broke up, and so I dragged her to the ground by her hair, and I spit in her face, and I said, "Don't hit me." And then she went to the cops. The cops told me I could press charges against her, and I said like, I don't want to press charges against her. She's the love of my life. And the cop told me I was pathetic, and she said she's going to press charges on you. I said no, she won't. She's like the love of my life. She loves me. Turns out the cop was right, and she tried to put me in jail, and I was like, oh, she didn't give a shit about me. Like, she just wanted that life.
Yeah, she sounds crazy. She slapped you?
Yeah, she was crazy. She was really hot, but she was kind of overweight, and I wanted her to lose weight so I could have, like, a hot girlfriend. But anyway, she was kind of... And it was weird. It's just weird to have somebody say, like, I love you for all those years, and then just off with his head. And I was like, oh, like... This marriage thing is kind of bullshit. Like, there's women who are going to try to exchange their hotness for, like, somebody to pay for them. And so I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. And so...
Yeah, no, I feel like a majority of women aren't like that. I feel like those are, like, the type of women that are, like, a lot of people on, like, the internet talk about. But I don't think those women actually, like, exist outside of, like, rare cases in, like, Miami. Like, I feel like a majority of women kind of just, like, want... Like a team person. They want a partner.
Yeah, I don't know. I might still try to find that, but I don't want to get a job. They seem like they really want people to have a job. I don't want to get a job. I kind of like living at my dad's, and so I just don't.
Right.
I don't get the whole like playing the role of a man, being a provider. It's just
No, I think like getting your own place isn't like too reasonable. I don't think like having your own house is like or like your own apartments like that's a good first step for getting a girlfriend. I feel like you instantly start banging more chicks or whatever you wanted to do if you had your own place to bring them home to. That'd be a good start.
I can't anymore. I'm already. My dad, he really needs me here, and I'm already.
Oh, he's
I'm too old.
leaving.
I'm too old to really do all this. I kind of like my comfort. Really, basically, my dad. I'm kind of like my dad pays all my bills, and he's just kind of let me have this room. He pays my car. He bought me a new car, and so I could never imagine a life with some woman where I had to be the provider, being better than being with my dad. It's just way better, and so I can't imagine doing it anymore. I think
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't live with your parents though. You have your own place.
No, I live with my parents.
It's great, right?
Yeah, it's great. Huh?
It's awesome. I always wonder why anybody moves out. Like, why do they? I think it's. I always imagine it's just for pussy. They must think like you think. They think like, oh, if I get my own place, I can get laid. Other than that, I wonder why anybody does it.
Yeah. What kind of car do you drive?
What's that?
What kind of car do you drive?
It's my dad's old car. Well, he bought me a car and I broke it. So he bought a new car. I took his Nissan Nissan something. It's a Nissan. It's just some boring gray safe car. Nissan Sentra or something like that. I don't even know.
Nice. I want a nice BMW. BMWs are my favorite brand. I'm saving up for a car right now.
I had a BMW. It was nice.
What BMW do you have?
It was a black. I sold it in 2017. It was just a black, reasonably priced BMW that was, I don't know. It was like pretty new. I don't know. It was cool. It looked cool. I like the status element of it. It looks like a cool car, but it was just basically a normal car.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's your dream car?
Ferrari 328 GTB from 1987 or a DeLorean. I always like those. DeLorean from Back to the Future.
I like them too. I like those boxy cars.
Boxy, like what? Like 80s cars.
Like the 90s Jaguars. I think like a 98 XJR would be like my favorite car.
Huh. Yeah, so you like cars.
A little bit, yeah.
So this is kind of a weird question, but like how do you if life is going to be good, like what's a good life in your estimation? Like if life could be any way you want it, maybe I already asked that, but like
you did, but I guess we could, like, I think I don't know, like I feel like it's so ever changing. Like I don't think you can really like set the course. I feel like you just have to like respond to what happens. Like life is so ever changing. Like no plan's ever gonna go accordingly. Like you're always gonna have to like adapt to like the infinite variables of like every day. Like I don't know. You can have like general goals like, oh, I want to work towards this job, so I'm gonna like do the steps, like go to college for this and like work my way up to that position. But like in terms of like a trajectory of life, I don't know. I feel like you kind of just have to like take it as it comes to you.
Yeah, that's more of a. I'm learning about it. They have yin and yang. Yang is more structure. Yin is like unexpected
chaos and order.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I've always been very structure, but I'm trying to do more yin, which is like like you say, like don't be rigid on your plan.
Yeah, I like to be very loose and sort of just like accept things as they come to you. Because like I feel like I just get like mad or frustrated whenever things don't go according to the way. So kind of just like try and make the best out of every situation, you know.
That's a good. That's Jocko says that. Jocko basically he doesn't make 5-year plans. He basically tries to deal with life as it comes. Yeah, I'm wondering that more and more. I'm just trying to think like, what the fuck am I gonna do from 45 for the rest of my life? And so
I don't know, kind of just like
I'm trying to
think
come up with
like
ideas.
do like New Year's resolutions, but like different hobbies you want to get into, and just like trial run different hobbies for like 3 months, 6 months. So you're like, yeah, sure, let's go ice skating. Let's see if I like that. Like, let's try skiing this season. I don't know, maybe I'll learn something.
Yeah,
Be doing stuff like that. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll take a dance class this summer. Do something like that. Maybe you could find a girl at dance class. That'd be a good idea. Dance is like the language of love, And you can find a wife.
I've been trying this thing called Omi Chat, and it's kind of interesting because you can see like what people around the world are doing. And I bet you there's some stuff that people are doing around the world where I'm like, oh, this is so fun. I didn't even know about this. Jiu-jitsu is kind of interesting, but I don't know. It's kind of I might quit it after a while. It's very determined by size and strength, and so if you're just a big, strong dude, you're way better at jiu-jitsu. And I don't want to.
Is it a lot of grappling?
Yeah, it's all grappling. And so if you take steroids and if you get about 20 pounds heavier on testosterone, you can get way better at it. And I don't want to do that. I when I started it, I was taking steroids, and now I'm like, boy, I fucking hate steroids, and so I'm just not going to do that anymore.
You know what your testosterone levels are naturally?
No.
If you have your levels tested? No, you should. You should maybe try TRT. I know Joe Rogan's on TRT. It's not like testosterone. It's more like bringing you back to your levels from when you were like in your 20s.
Well,
like a boost.
I don't like
like
the way
man.
I don't like the way I look and feel when I take testosterone. I've taken testosterone a lot in my 30s, off and on, and it's just you get like a plumber, and you start to get really aggressive, and you get like. It's great for jiu-jitsu, and it's great for getting pussy because you're really horny and you'll work on women more. But I don't know. I was like the best times in my life have all been like drug-free, and so I think I'm just gonna lead sort of like a effeminate, non-testosterone sort of like art life, and kind of chill out into my old age. That's my current plan. But yeah, if you want,
like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that seems to be my natural state, and so. I tried to do all this like man stuff, but that dating thing yesterday basically has showed me that like, oh, I'm totally out of the running for being with a woman in that role of like playing a provider type thing. It's weird. Like I just realized like, oh,
I didn't. Did you stream it? I didn't see it.
It was my brother took. It was in San Francisco. It was basically just speed dating. We went to this hotel lounge and we just sat with different women for like 6 minutes at a time. I did it for like 30 or 40 minutes, and I was just like, oh, this is never gonna... I can't do this anymore. I'm just, I'm not really... I don't know. It's weird to be 45, because I'm not quite as, like... I'm kind of set...
What did you feel like the problem was when they just started asking you questions you didn't have answers to?
I'm just not... I always just like hot chicks. I was always just like, I just want to fuck a hot chick. That was all I ever liked. And so when I was in my 20s or 30s, if someone it was a cute woman and she liked me and I liked her, I just wanted to have sex with her because she had pretty face, big butt, big boobs. And I'm realizing that like, that's kind of all I really wanted in terms of like a wife and stuff. And I know that's like fucked up, but that I don't really understand love and relationships anymore, because when I jerk off on my phone, it's just a pretty face, big butt, big boobs. I want to put a baby into a woman with those attributes. And it has nothing to do with like...
What site do you use?
Oh, I just look up. I go into... I either look at Caden Cross videos, Lexus Locklear, just hot blonde chicks. I just type into... what's it called? Yandex. Yandex is great.
Yandex? Yeah. It's no filter.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, you can just... click and it's like, oh, you like that woman, here's a bunch of other women that look like that woman. And so yeah, I'm very confused about sex / connection and relationship, and I'm sort of like, I don't really get it. I always feel like, are men kind of full of shit? Because I always feel like I always connect better with men, but women are from Venus, men are from Mars, and I always just feel like there's this thing where men are supposed to be like, oh, this is my best friend, and I get a boner for her, and I want to put a baby into her. I always feel like that's a coincidence that you found those same...
I feel like gay guys are kind of lucky, because like, they can be like, oh, I'm such a good friend with this person, and I can put my penis inside them.
Right, I do.
It's like it's a one stop fix for everything. It's like my best friend is like my lover.
I think they're, in a way, they're more transcended, enlightened human beings, because they're basically, it's really about connection, and they're not catering to like breeding instinct, and they've overcome that thing that says like, oh, this is bad, this is like, it seems like an honest relationship, because I always think like men understand men, women understand women. It's just, there's this thing where people are supposed to be like, this is my best friend, but like, I lived with women I lived with a woman, I was engaged to a woman for 3 years. I still didn't even know her. She took me to court, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know her. And I feel like, I asked my mom, all women are kind of different from men, and so I just feel like there's kind of this bullshit thing where women want you to say, you're supposed to be my best friend. Oh, also, and you get a boner for her. I always feel like it's a coincidence to find those in the same package. So I feel like men, they have to pretend it's not about pretty face, big butt, big boobs. Because if they say sex, women are like, terrible, you're shallow. But if you go with some woman who can't give you a boner, that doesn't fucking work. And so it just seems like, I think people are kind of full of shit. That's my general conclusion. But maybe I'm just a bad man or something. But I just wanted a hot chick, and so can't do it.
I feel like that's why like pretty much everyone I've dated, I've sort of like been friends with them for like months and months beforehand, just because I had to like make sure I really liked this person before I like went ahead with anything. Because like, I don't know.
So you wanted like a connection.
Yeah, I'm a very, I don't know, like codependent person, I guess. Like I very much like spending time with my partner when I'm dating them.
Huh? That seems like healthy. That seems like,
yeah. It can be healthy, but like, I don't know, they spend too much time with like anyone. Like, I don't know, too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm very baffled as to how relationships work.
Do you like to be alone more? Do you use personal space a lot?
Yeah, I really thrive. Everything I do is all solitary type stuff, and so I think I've just been like that for so much of my life, that my social skills are so terrible that I don't know how to have fun with people, and so it always seems like I end up like I'm making an effort to be social, but eventually it's always kind of like people don't really like me. I don't really fit with people. I'm not like a social. I don't thrive with people, and so I end up just retreating back to my art thing, and just, yeah, I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I wonder how much you can change your nature. I'm trying with this. Like, I'm trying to do these chats, and I'm trying to write down these things about like, oh, I got to change my habits, but
I don't know, when I talk to you, you feel like natural. Like, I know you talk a lot about how like you're not very like sociable and you feel like you're awkward, but like when I talk to you, like it feels like normal. Like you don't seem like weird.
Yeah, I don't remember how people, like when I was a kid, I used to play with friends and stuff and have fun with humans. In the adult world, I don't know quite how to do that. I've done so much isolation stuff that I just can't remember quite like what people do to like have fun with other people. So I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to do these conversations and try to figure out how to have fun with people again. Because I don't want to become like an agoraphobic shut-in. That seems like at 45, I can tell that like, oh, people when they get old, they tend to sort of like close the doors and cut off friendships and stuff. And so I'm thinking like I should prevent against that by doing some kind of chatting or something like that.
I don't know, maybe it's time to have a kid. I definitely think it's time for you to have a little Sean running around.
Well, I gotta knock up some woman, but they don't just let you do that. I went onto Tinder, I asked a lot of women like, can I just make you pregnant? And they're not down for that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they would be.
So I guess I'll probably just keep trying to date or something like that, but it's really hard to get a hot chick at 45, and I don't really want it. Like when I'm on Tinder, ever since the age of 40, it's all single moms, ladies from Asia, or like an overweight ethnic chick, and I don't like them. I don't want to be with them, and so I think I'm kind of out of the running. But dude, you're fucking young. You don't have to worry about this shit. But I always want to tell, like, I don't want to give unsolicited advice, but I always tell like people in their 20s, I didn't know that like after 40, it's fucking hard to like. It's hard to get like, just nobody's really like attractive anymore, and so I just think you should just.
I hope I never make it to 40.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's it's got problems. It's sort of like there's definitely at least I think you're supposed to have a kid. That's kind of what makes sense. It's like people after 40, everything seems to be getting worse, and so if you can just pay for your kid and be like, oh, it's fine that I'm falling apart because I got a picture of my kid, that's the way to go. And so I think you're right about like having a kid seems like
definitely is something that I want. Like if you're talking like to go back to your question about like what sort of path I want in my life is like one thing I do really want is like a family. Like having a kid seems like really important to me. Seems like something that I really enjoy is like raising a kid, and like I don't know, I feel like it's a really important experience. It's like a really meaningful thing in my eyes. It's profound.
Yeah.
Like creating a child.
You figure like every one of your direct ancestors, they all did it. Like each of us, if we're alive today, we're the descendant of a bunch of people. So if we're kind of supposed to do it. So I feel like you gotta pass life on to the next generation. But it's hard. It's a lot of work.
A lot of people aren't doing that. Like the population rate, like the growth rate of population is like falling in like every country. Like nobody's having kids anymore.
Jordan Peterson says that 50% of men actually don't have kids. So that's because like
I like Jordan Peterson.
You do like him?
Yeah.
He's got a beautiful way of talking. Like he's really funny.
I don't like him so much anymore. Like he in 2018 he got very addicted to like benzos and kind of like went off the deep end and then into the Daily Wire and started like spewing a lot of like I don't know, just nonsense. But like back when he was like a professor in like 2016, 17, 18, he was like posting his lectures online. I used to like fall asleep to those like every night when I was in high school. Like yeah,
he's really eloquent, and I don't totally even know what he's talking about sometimes, but he's fun to listen to. Do you kind of understand his ideas?
Yeah, usually. I do feel like he does sort of like over like mystify what he's talking about to like sound smart, or like he'll like speak in certain ways to like sort of like obfuscate what he's actually saying, and then like dumb people are sort of like, wow, I didn't even understand that. That must have been so profound. I couldn't even comprehend what he said. But I don't know. I feel like kind of like sort of like pick and choose whatever. I do feel like he does say a lot of good stuff, especially like a long time ago. Like a lot of his old stuff is really, really good.
Sorry, what'd you say?
He talks a lot about like mythology and like old stories and like relates it to like psychological stuff. Like I don't know if you know who like Carl Jung is and stuff. Like I really like that sort of stuff. Like when he talks about psychology and stuff. But like whenever he talks about anything that's not psychology, like I think he's like a moron. Like I don't know why he like talks about like politics and stuff. And like science, he's not like a scientist. He's not like an economist. I think he seems to stick to psychology because when he actually like talks about that stuff, it's pretty good.
He talked about that idea about postmodernists, and I never really knew what that was until like the last like I don't know 7 or 8 years or something. And then I started looking.
It's like his favorite buzzword. Yeah.
I want to talk about that just a little. Like, does that make sense? Like that idea that like that things have like multiple interpretations, and he wants to really stay like no, it's this. He believes in what I guess are called grand narratives. He wants to be like a man is a hero, and I'm always thinking like
archetypal narratives. Yeah.
And so like I always feel like the postmodernists are kind of right. Like it does seem like things do have like multiple interpretations, and so I feel like that part of Jordan Peterson's thing, it seems like he's kind of wrong. It seems like he's trying to rigidly stick to like one interpretation for stuff in the face of this time where it seems like clearly that's not how things are.
I think when he talks about stuff like archetypal narratives and things like that, I think he's sort of like he's like sort of like simplifying things down to this sort of idea that there's like 12 different archetypal narratives and like every single story and like sequence of actions can be like tied down to like or like labeled in these different like archetypes, and I don't actually know like it's like a thing from like Carl Jung. It's like related to like Greek mythology and stuff. But I don't know, and like biblical stories. Like I don't know. It's like he says something like if you've read like Hamlet, you've read like every Western novel because it's all like the same story, just like oversimplified and characters rewritten.
So I should listen to him again, but like, is his idea that like men should try to play out the archetype of the hero?
No, I think like I don't think so. It was like there is a big thing he talks about. It's like is the is shadow work like is like integrating your shadow. I think that's like a big thing you should like watch from Jordan Peterson. I think that's like a really good thing where it's like accepting the bad parts of yourself and like integrating them into yourself. It's like Beauty and the Beast where like Beast like contains himself for Belle or whatever the girl's name is, and like Belle respects him for like having like the I mean like a beast within him, but he is civilized enough to be a normal person. I feel like that's a lot of like what Jordan Peterson talks about is like integrating his shadow, where it's like it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. That sort of like saying.
Yeah, at this jiu-jitsu thing, I'm noticing that a lot of young men are starting to think that way. There's all these kind of guys who everybody has this obligatory like tattoo, and I get the sense that over the last 20 years, people have heard the way other people are thinking, and it's kind of like the cat's out of the bag, and people know that women like bad boys or something. And so I just feel like the people in their 20s, everybody's like showing that they have like a tattoo, and they're trying to be like, I'm a bad man and stuff. But
yeah.
I get the sense from that jiu-jitsu that those guys, they can't. I get the sense that people can't really change too much of their genetics. Like I feel like at jiu-jitsu, there's these guys. I could be wrong, but I feel like at my jiu-jitsu gym, there's these guys who are in their 20s who would have made like perfectly good, like docile, effeminate yoga guys, but they got like a tattoo and they're wearing like a blackie and they're trying to be like, oh, I'm a bad man. I'm going to learn to be a bad man. But I feel like they can't. I don't know if they can do that. I'm not sure that I wonder if some of that is just built into people from their parents or something like that, genetics or something like that. I've never seen a guy sort of go from like a nice, docile, sort of effeminate man into like a savage killer. Like, oh, fuck. I feel like those savage killer like guys, their dads were usually like savage killer dudes, and so maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah, I don't know, I feel like there's definitely like some sort of genealogy there, where it's like people are like bred to be like have like certain natures to them. Like people have like different natures. Like I don't really know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. Like if someone's like the Vikings, or they're all Vikings come from other Vikings, you know, like or it's like things like that. Yeah, but I don't think it's like you're destined for that. Like I do think, but like it's like phenotypes and like genotypes. I don't know if you know what those are.
no.
It's like just like your genetic predisposition to like be like your like mental and physical like build in nature is like genetically decided.
I've listened to so many of those Navy SEAL podcasts. All those Navy SEAL dudes and Joe Rogan, their dads were like violent, savage type people. And so I've been doing all this jiu-jitsu, and I've been like, I want to be what women want. I want to be like a savage brute. But really, like, I won this jiu-jitsu tournament, but still, I'm not some sort of like bad dude. Like I can't be like I don't even want to be a bad dude. I don't even want to get like tattoos and shit. I find all of that stuff really repellent. And so I think those guys at the gym, they're not going to turn into that bad dude. They're gonna be a nice dude with like a tattoo. And I wonder if that's not going to work. My thing said it's running out of time again, but we can restart if it times out. But what else did I want to ask? Do you believe in a soul?
Not in like a religious sense where I don't think like a soul is like a physical thing. Like I don't believe in like heaven and hell or like an afterlife, but I do believe in the soul as like an idea of like your subconscious mind. Like I believe like a soul is just a word used to like sort of represent your moral foundation and like your emotions and sort of like I believe your soul is just like who you are inside of your brain. Like I feel like that's like your inner dialogue is like your soul.
Yeah, I wonder. Like I always say this. I've been trying to say all this. Like there's no soul because I want to believe that I can. I want to have a growth mindset, which basically means like just learn some new habits and try to grow as a human being. But kind of, I think that maybe when people say just be yourself, maybe that is kind of good. Like maybe there are some genetic things that you just can't transcend, and you're not fooling anybody. If I'm doing all this jiu-jitsu, eventually I'm just gonna be like, I just want to do art. Like maybe, do you think it's wise to just be yourself? Here, this is a question I have. Is like, have you known a lot of guys who try to be what women want? They try to be like a bad dude. They try to get like a motorcycle. They try to start like a rock band. But deep down, they're just not that type of guy. They never succeed at that, right? Like
you see right through it. It's pathetic. Like you know exactly right off the bat, like that's not who they really are.
Yeah, and so like it seems like that's a trap, and generally the dorky dudes who just stayed true to their dorky thing, they had better lives, and those guys who try to be an imitation cool guy, it never really works. Maybe they trick one or two women, but it seems like it's
like these like red pill people who talk about like being like a man and like being like the woman that people want. I feel like the only women they actually sleep with are prostitutes. Like I think so.
What's red pill is basically like, I don't believe in polite society. I'm just going to say things how it is. Is that?
It's like a dating strategy where it's like I don't really know how to explain it, but like this like sort of idea that like
Andrew Tate.
Women only date men for like their value. You have to be like a high value male, and like or else women won't want you. And all these ideas like you have to be a protector. And you have to be like an alpha male, or else women will think you're a beta, and all these things.
I don't feel like there's like real alpha males. I mean, that's like a wolf thing. I feel like I don't even know what people.
Yeah, it's so dorky. It's like based off of like quote unquote evolutionary biology, but it's like so dorky, so ridiculous.
I do sort of believe in just being able to not get stuck in like society's thing or follow anybody else's total thing. I like the idea of just being able to sort of do what you want and lead your own life without necessarily following anybody else. I don't know if that's I like that aspect. Like I've noticed that from listening to Joe Rogan and Jocko, is that they're like, I'm gonna do this and I'm not gonna like just drink the Kool-Aid of society. I always feel like that aspect is kind of cool. Like they want to choose their own destiny rather than gravitating around some job or something like that. That seems like an appealing idea. But
yeah, I feel like they're only able to do that because I don't feel like that's like one of their natural instincts. I do feel like that's something that's like part of their ego, just because of like the amount of pull that they have, like the amount of like their audience capture and like what their audience thinks of them. Like someone like Jimmy Fallon, who like a majority of the population just sees as like some dork on late night television, it isn't gonna like have like the same pull and like audience capture to be able to like create that sort of like bad boy image in his head to like people. I don't know. It's sort of like you kind of have to like create that image and sort of like portray yourself in a certain way in order to like have like certain expectations of you.
Yeah, I think
feel like it certainly depends on the person, like the sort of like level of audience capture that they have, or like how like loyal the fans are, basically.
It seems like it doesn't work. It seems like people are sort of better off like being themselves to some degree, or just I don't know. Like there's kind of a balance between like just trying to be yourself, but also kind of growing as a person. I've never really figured out, but it seems like at least in terms of trying to trick women that you're like some badass guy, I've never seen anybody really pull it off. But if you go onto Facebook, you see all these guys. Everybody has a motorcycle. You can go to like India and you look at random people in India, and like 1 out of 3 guys is like, I'm a badass guy. I have like glasses and like a motorcycle, and it's just a really common thing to like try to be what women want. or they think women want.
Yeah, Indians full of women from right here.
Oh,
Women love Indians.
no, I mean like people in India.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I remember looking at random samples in India, and I just remember thinking like everybody wants to be like imitation cool guy, but I don't know. At least in my circle of friends, the guys who tried to be imitation cool guys, it didn't stick. Like eventually, they should just play to their strengths or be themselves or something like that.
I don't know, I guess it works as like a short-term dating strategy, but the second like the woman actually like gets to know who you are, they now like realize like, oh, he's not actually that. Like I feel like if you're just looking for a one-night stand, you might be able to pull it off.
Yeah, I don't know. So do you feel like there is a self? Like, don't you feel like people fluctuate and they do all sorts of different stuff? It's hard to really say.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like people change over time. Like I don't feel like who you are is like a straight line. I feel like it's like a projection over time, sort of like how you. I think your definitely your environment sort of molds you like 100%. Sort of like even like your community and like who you're around is definitely gonna like shape the person you are more than anything. Like especially like with things like religion. Like I feel like everybody who's religious is only religious because, well, not like everybody, but 99% of people who are like religious are religious because they grew up religious, not because they found God on their own terms. And it's sort of like an example where it's like, I don't know, your environment like shapes everything about you.
yeah,
But like, yeah, like people you're around, just the community that you have around you, the society you grew up in and live in, is just gonna like affect every aspect of your life. It's gonna like shape your political views, your moral views, your ethical views, everything.
right. Yeah, because in ancient Egypt, people had totally different lifestyles, totally different thoughts.
Like I'm on the internet all day, but like people who like grew up on the farm aren't like thinking like, man, I wish I was online playing video games right now, but I am. Like I don't know, it's super like dependent on like your environment, like what you know. Like you only life's only as good as you like are aware of that it is.
Yeah, yeah. The internet is it's nice. I just do you live stream?
I used to.
Do you know anybody who just live streams all day?
No, you're the only person I know who does it.
I keep wondering, like, how can people stand the loneliness? Like, how do you not just... Don't you worry about just being off-grid, like you're going to fall into alcoholism or something like that?
No, like I sort of like being lonely. Well, not lonely, but like out of the light. I don't like. I sort of like just like when my life's quiet. I don't know. I don't like to have like feel like I always need to be talking to people or I always need attention. I don't know. I'm sort of just like independent in that way. That's just how I am though.
Huh. I guess I don't know. I have some weird thing where like I think I just am probably gonna live stream for like the rest of my life because it just if I go off live stream I'm like way less productive and I feel lonely and so oh shit. What the hell? Hey, what's up?
Mm.
So you still want to talk to me, huh? Most people after a while are like, I should get going and stuff.
I don't know. I can hang out for a few more minutes. Why not? What's up?
Okay. Yeah. But yeah. So what else am I wondering? So do you want to get like a studly body?
No, like not super muscly. Like no, I do like to be like lean and like to have like a little bit of muscle, but I have no interest in being like bulky or like big muscles or like six pack abs, huge chest. I don't know. Like I don't want like to be huge.
You said you like being pretty.
Yeah, sure.
Like
No.
don't you? I never understood that about men. Like if I could snap my fingers and just look like a male model in their 20s, I would always want that. And I never understand the guys who have like shaved heads and get fat and have a mustache. Like
Yeah, it's gross.
Do you work out to try to like stay lean and have like a good jawline and like
Yeah, it's all for vanity.
Yeah.
Like, I love staring at myself in the mirror and just admiring myself, honestly.
I used to in my 20s. There was nothing that made me feel better than just thinking that I looked really good. I loved that. It was the best feeling, I thought. And I've never known other guys who admit it though. I always there's guys who are like Jocko's like I don't care about getting scars. He shaves his head, and I don't get it.
I don't get it either. No. I like vanity. I like to like look good. I like to feel good about myself. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like you're more. I don't know. At least in my 20s, it meant that I would be more likely to get laid. But also, just it feels bad at like a visceral level to just think that I look terrible. But like, do you ever get Botox or dermal filler or anything like that?
No.
No, you don't. I guess you're not old enough to do it. But those things can be. I found them to be really fun. Like at least in my 30s and stuff. It was like for like 9 months you can, if you're like a 5 or a 6, you can go up to like a 7 for like a little while if you have the right plastic surgeon. But it's kind of expensive.
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good looking. So like yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I always need like my lips are kind of disappearing, and so I used to, if I got a little filler into my upper lip and my nasolabial fold, and I Botox out my Madland, and maybe get like a little Juvederm or there's something called Voluma you could put on your cheek to look like a little more a little less old. I think it's really basically an older person thing, but like I used to love that stuff. If I had a few $1,000s, I would probably get more of it, but it can be really fun. But you're happy with your face as it is.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
I always had like a big nose and stuff. I used to go to plastic surgeons and I would ask them to like whittle down my nose, and I never had the guts to get the one where they actually file down your nose. But I always thought.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of like a somewhat of a bigger nose. When I was like 1 year old, I like broke my nose, and I feel like that like shaped my nose for the rest of my life. Where I kind of had like a bigger nose because of that. But no, I don't care.
You don't
I think it's cute. I think it's cute anyways. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've never really had desire to like change anything about myself. Like even though I do think that like I don't know. I think I'm like unique looking, I guess, but I still think I look attractive. So I don't know. I don't really feel any desire for like Botox or anything, or like any sort of like facial work to be done.
Well, that's good. It's good that you like. I always felt lacking. I was always in my 20s. I was always obsessed with getting a nose job. I had to have one, and it's cool that you're just happy with stuff. So you're like
I don't know, I used to be like super self-conscious, and then like I like started having relationships, and I sort of like realized, oh wait, people find me attractive, and then I like started to find myself attractive because of that, and then I was like kind of like over being self-conscious.
But don't you feel like if you were more attractive, you could get more attractive mates?
No, I don't really care about like I don't really care about like how attractive like my partners are. Like I'm not like.
That I think that part of it was that for me is I always thought like if I can just look hot, maybe I can have sex with a hot woman without getting rich. And so I was always kind of like I gotta get hot, and so I always wanted to get like a nose job or some shit. But so you look good. You look like good as is.
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that's pretty great, right? If it makes life pretty great.
I don't know. Who knows how long it'll last? Like, I already know, like, from like my just like looking at my dad and like my grandpa, my hair is probably gonna go eventually and all that. So,
You can, you can get
if there's
trimmed.
anything like, yeah, you can get a transplant, but it like fucks you up, and it's not always good, and it's like I don't know.
I looked pretty good until about like 35, 33, 35, and then so you start to look. I don't know. At least in my case, I started to look like an older person, and I wish I just had nothing but like hot sex from 20s to 30s, and so I just always wonder like why people your age aren't just like screwing their brains out. But I guess
I don't know. Why the obsession with sex? Like, why do you feel the compulsive need to have sex with so many people?
just the feeling of getting my dick with no condom into a vagina of a really pretty woman. That was the best, most gratifying experience of my whole life. Like I always think like, how do I feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Usually like a 5 or a 6. If I do like a good workout, maybe 7. The only time I felt like 10 was when I had my dick in the pussy of a pretty blonde woman, and it just feels like so good. It feels like life is so complete. You feel like you're home in the gates of heaven or something, and so that's always just kind of what I thought. That's what my body wants to do. It wants to get into pretty woman's pussy, and so I don't know. It's always on my mind, like my whole adult life. Even just talking about it right now makes me. Don't you like if you just start talking about like getting into like a model's pussy? Like, don't you feel like? Don't you get like endorphins and stuff?
No.
No?
I don't know how you're like in your 40s and you're like hornier than me. It's crazy.
I don't know. I get nuts about like sex with. I used to be even worse when I was 30 and stuff. But like, yeah, it's kind of like so you don't feel like if you got your dick into the pussy of like a supermodel woman, like I don't know, Kate Upton or something like that. You wouldn't just feel like you got into the gates of heaven. That doesn't sound like a really gratifying experience to you.
No, I feel like the best sex I've had is with like somebody that I like really love and have a connection with. Like that's like the hotbed shit to me.
Wow, I guess people really are.
I don't know. I think I'm weird though for that. Like I feel like a lot of people also just like to fuck.
Women are like that. Women want connection. They all say that. A lot of women say that. So maybe you have like I mean, I have like female attributes in some senses. Maybe you have female attributes in that regard.
Maybe, yeah. Probably, I'd say so, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how I don't know. I'm really fast. I'll never know what it's like to be in the mind of another human. But when I listen to other humans, I realize it's different in people's heads in ways that I'll probably like never know.
I don't know. Everybody's so different, right? Like everybody has their own. Like I said, everybody has like totally unique experiences that shape and mold them to be like totally different people. Like, I feel like everybody's like pooped out as a blank slate, and then they're just like molded by everything else, you know, to some degree. I feel like some stuff is like innate and like genetically wired to you, but like at the same time, I feel like a majority of it is like your environment and like the people around you that mold you.
I want to believe that like a lot of things are moldable and changeable, but I always go back to when I was in 3rd grade. I'd never drawn anything before. I'd never done drawing at all. And this teacher put a picture of a dragon on the wall. She gave us 3 hours to draw the dragon. Nobody in the class had ever drawn from observation before. We drew for 3 hours. At the end of it, mine looked like the dragon. Everybody else in the rooms looked like a big mess. And I was like, oh, everybody else kind of struggles with this. And so that makes me believe that I had some sort of talent thing in terms of like observational, like making something look good based off of observation. And still to this day, that's the only thing in my world where people go, yeah, you're really good at that. And I wish I could change. I want to be good at jiu-jitsu. I want to be good at like something that'll get me laid that women like or something. But then people are always like, you're still just good at that thing that you were genetically always good at. In the case of like observational, making something look like a person or something I can observe. And so that makes me think some things really are kind of like, aren't there things that you are good at that other people struggle with that you're kind of always good at?
I feel like yeah, there's like certain things where I like naturally picked up, like in guitar class, like in high school I took guitar, and it was like everybody's like first time playing guitar, and I definitely felt like in that class like I excelled a lot faster than like other people. Like even with like other things like making music, I feel like it's like something I naturally picked up fast. Like it's something I've always had a natural ear for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wonder if it's wise to just. I always wonder. I've debated my whole life if it's good to just embrace your strength and just go in on your strength, or to try to do some stuff that you want to do that's not your strength. I still don't even know the right answer. All right. Well, I guess I should probably go to walk my dog and stuff. And what am I going to do today?
Yeah, I gotta go to bed too. So yeah, I'll see you. It's fun.
Yeah, it's nice talking with you. You're the person I've talked with the longest. Who?
Really?
Yeah, like most people I can't talk with for more than half hour. So it's good to talk with you. It's good to talk to someone who I have similar interests in and stuff. So yeah. Have a good one.
You too.
I'm an asshole. Nobody. If I don't use this little system, people don't really want to talk to me for very long. And so, like when I used to just be myself, people go like, that people eventually know that I'm an asshole and they don't want to talk with me. And so, I should really, if I do chat, I really should just probably try to stick with the system of like asking questions and stuff. I don't know, or maybe people should just be themselves. But if I be myself, people are always just eventually, they're like, Sean, you're an asshole, and I always think like people think I'm boring and they think I'm too into myself or something, or full of shit or something. And so I don't know. What do you think? Anybody out there? Nobody's watching this, but do you think that you should just be yourself and then maybe you can like connect with people? What if I'm a selfish asshole? If I'm a selfish asshole and I'm boring and nobody likes me, maybe I shouldn't be myself. Maybe I should just read some stuff. Anyway, whatever. How do you connect? How do you connect with a human and find love? Is it possible? Can people do that? Are there people out there who find love and they connect and nobody's out there, right? I want to say this thing is just, let's say no one's watching, but I always feel like as a human, I'm stuck inside my head and I'll never know what it's like to be inside another human, and I'm basically stranded in planet Sean for my whole fucking life, and I'll never know what it's like to be inside another human. But then I think the desire to have sex is basically like when I was with my ex-girlfriend Christy, I liked her so much I wanted to like merge with her. It was this feeling like I liked her so much, I wanted to like swim inside of her and just merge with her. I wanted to be in her, and then I couldn't do that. But I feel like sex is basically like that. Like you're trying to be like, I want to get outside of myself and I want to merge. I like you so much, I just want to merge, and you can't do that. But your kid is basically a merger of you and that other person you like so much. And so maybe that's a good thing for people to do, is to just try to get out there and find somebody that you like so much that you just want to merge with them, and you can't merge with them, but your kid will be a merger of them. And so anyway, see, I'm not really good at like, I already, like now that I'm talking to myself, I can do this, like I can monologue till the cows come home. But if I'm talking with a human, I'm really not good at like, it's like a dance. No one's listening, right? Joe Rogan talks about that. Joe Rogan says that like, when you have a dialogue, it's like a dance, and you got to know how to like make your partner feel good. You got to know how to pick up what they're feeling, and you got to be able to spin it and connect. And I'm really not good at that. Like if I start talking with people naturally, I start doing all this monologuing stuff, and people get bored, and then so I don't know, like maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, should you just be yourself if I just be myself, maybe myself is just somebody who's just doomed to monologue, and I can't really. I think if I'm to just, if there is a self, I always say this thing where there's like no self, but if there is a self, I think my true self is kind of like maybe like a little bit of like a selfish asshole type person, and so maybe that person just is doomed to be alone. It doesn't matter. I'm too old for this shit anyway. I don't have to worry about mating, but you do it. Somebody out there, I'm telling you, dude, 45, the ability to fuck is significantly harder. You should just fuck your brains out and mate and have kids and stuff before you're 40. That's my best thing to say to anybody. It's just, I'm telling you, after 40, it's just not so good. And so if you can fuck and possibly have kids before 40, I'd highly recommend that, because then you can like pay for your kids when you're like falling apart. Anyway, I've said this over and over, but I feel so depressed because I know that I'm doomed to be alone. I'm gonna die alone, and I'm just gonna listen to Joe Rogan. But don't let this be you. You should fuck your brains out and have kids and find a mate before 40. I hope you do that. I feel sick. I feel viscerally sick because I know that's nobody's listening, right? But that fucking online dating, that speed dating thing I did yesterday, and just the matches that I'm getting on Tinder has just made me realize that like the window of time is over. Like the women my age, they can't have kids anymore. I don't want to drone on and on about my problems, but there was one woman when I was 30 to 33, and I was really into her, and I just wanted to swim inside of her, and I wanted to get naked with her and fill her with cum, and I was young and cute enough that she wanted to be with me. And then after I passed like 35, she looked at me and she's like, you're too old now. And she's kind of too old now to have kids, and so you should really just fuck your brains out from 20 to 30 before I think that should be 20-year-olds only job. Just do that. That's the main point of life, is to basically like find love and mate. And then there's just going to be all this other time to do all this like work stuff. But you can't be young and attractive ever again. It doesn't seem like. And then women can't be baby making age ever again. And so it just seems like 20-year-olds, they should just fuck their brains up. And so I wish I did that. I wish when I was in my 20s, I just did nothing but that. Anyway. I feel sick. I feel like anyway. What do you think, Sean? I think I'm worried that tomorrow I'm gonna have like a dark night of the soul. That online dating thing just made me realize like I'm so screwed. I'm so unable to connect with a woman anymore, like, or just anyway. I'm just gonna cry on this video until I'm dead. Anyway, sorry for making this video. I'm really off today. I'm sorry.